Hi everyone, I just wanted to go over a few things that I normally would go through with you on pickup day, but we'll try and do it on video. I know it's not as good, but we'll try and get through it. So Chewy has decided to be our model for today. So I just want to go over a few quick things with the puppies. So I intentionally waited to trim his nails just to show you how easily these guys are good with their nails being trimmed. I've trimmed their nails weekly since they were born, not because they need to be trimmed that often, but because it's just getting them used to the feeling of it. We do not remove dew claws on any of our puppies, so just a reminder to also do their dew claws. Good boy, Chewy. As far as nail trimmers go, I do highly recommend the ones with blades on both sides and a guard. The ones that have the blade that comes up the middle, often you'll get like cutting the quick and that kind of thing. So these ones are nicer. This is a bit of an older version, but I definitely prefer those. So things that we like to, and he's good with his back paws too, but just for time's sake we'll not do those right now. But the more you can spend time with your puppy playing with their paws and sticking your fingers between their toes and that kind of thing, the better. As you can see, he doesn't care at all because he's used to me handling him lots. So even when you're just sitting on the couch with them in the evening, you can spend time doing that. And the same thing with their mouth. You should be able to open their mouth and look at their teeth and have your hands in their mouth, and they shouldn't care. And this is something that's important. So if you're walking down the street and he picks up something on the street that you don't want him to have in his mouth, that you can get it out right away. It's a safety thing. And then as far as ear care, all floppy-eared dogs are prone to ear infections, so we want to keep an eye on their ears. But breeds that shed less also tend to get more hair in their ears. So we want to just make sure that we're checking their ears often. You can see, if you can see in his ears, you can see how nice and pink his ear is. He does have a few little hairs in here, so you can actually just stick your hand in his ear and just pull out the hairs. Just with your fingers you can pull them out gently. The nerve endings in the ears are not as sensitive as the rest of the body, so it might be a little uncomfortable for them because you're just sticking your fingers in their ears, but it doesn't hurt them. And the more you can do that, the better, because it just gets them used to the feeling of it, having your hands in their ears and that kind of thing. And when you remove the hair, if you leave the hair in there for too long, it will actually get impacted, and then you're not going to get airflow into the ear canal. So these guys who love water, if they get water in their ear just sitting there and it doesn't dry out often, that's when you're going to get an ear infection. Most of the time you'll smell an ear infection before you actually see it. It's usually a strong odor, and these guys love to be cuddled right up as close to your face as they can get. So you often will smell it, but when there's dirt, well, looks like dirt, like browny black dirt inside the ear canal, you can get a cleanser, but if it gets to the point of an ear infection, then you're going to want to take them to the vet. Very easy to treat, just making sure that we're staying on top of that. And it's not uncommon for them to get dirt on the outside of the ear. That's not as big of a deal. That's just normal play, and just clean it like you would anything else. And yeah, this guy's pretty easygoing. So as far as grooming, there's a couple different brushes. So these are the two typical brushes, and this is just another version of this comb. They come in all different shapes and sizes, but often I have families that pick up this brush and want to use it all the time. And this brush, he's not brushed out right now, but you can see with this brush it does make them all fluffy and cute and that kind of thing. which has its place, but this is not the brush you want to use on a regular basis, because what it'll do is it'll make the outside of the coat nice and fluffy, but underneath near the skin you're going to get mats, and then when you take them to the groomer is going to shave them down, and you probably won't be impressed, and that's not fun for anyone. So if you can get a comb like this, or even one like this, and you can get that comb through their hair, you're going to be able to keep them at whatever length you want, which is really helpful. This is more of a like regular basis comb to use. Yeah. So we'll move on to all the puppies come with a harness and leash. So we do have a couple different sizes. Chewy's in one of our bigger sizes. So all these harnesses and leashes are adjustable, and often I'm going to send them home with a leash or a harness that's slightly big on them. It depends on what size they are. If they're onto just barely getting into the bigger size, I send the bigger size, because it just doesn't seem logical to send you home with a harness that will only fit for a couple weeks and then you have to move into a different one. So if the harness is a little bit big, it's great for them to have the harness on as much as you can so they get used to the feeling of the harness, but I would never have the harness on when you're not supervising. And the reason for that being is they can easily get their jaw caught in the harness, or get it caught on something else and injure themselves. So you want to just be as careful as possible. And most of our harnesses, we try to get the ones that slip easily over the head, and then you just want to find the hook to be centered in the middle of their back. And this one just snaps around. So, and then you can adjust it accordingly, but I'll have them pre-adjusted to fit them when they leave here for the size they are right now. And then they do come with a matching leash as well. And then, so crate setup. Crate routine, they're used to going to the crate at about 11 p.m. at night and getting up about 6 a.m., but that's just our normal schedule. So you can get them to adjust to their schedule, like whatever your schedule is at home. So as far as crate setup, you're gonna have the big crate with the divider. And so I just brought one of the bigger crate mats out here so you can see it. And what you're gonna wanna do is the divider is going to be in the middle of this. So you're going to want to take your puppy, so saying this is the door here, you're going to take your puppy and put them inside the crate. You're going to want their bum to touch the door and their nose to touch the divider. You don't want any more space than that. And then what you're going to do is you're going to take the blanket that we send home. So this blanket has been rubbed all over their litter mates, so it has their odor on it, their scent. Sit here for a minute. And then you're going to put the blanket on the side that's divided off that the puppy's going to sleep on. And then you're going to take your Snuggle Puppy. So often this, when it's divided this way, there's still going to be a little bit too much space this way. So the Snuggle Puppy helps in a few ways. So the Snuggle Puppy has a pocket in it, and we do send them home. They'll come home with 3 heat packs, and then this little monitor that actually it has instructions on the back, but it makes a heartbeat sound so they feel like they have their litter mate with them. You're going to want to take one of these heat packs and the heart beat sound, and you're going to want to put it into the Snuggle Puppy, and then make sure that the Velcro is sealed up really good. It's very nice Velcro, but you just want to make sure it's sealed. And then you're going to take your Snuggle Puppy and put it on one side of the crate. So the Snuggle Puppy acts as a comfort to the puppy for their, particularly the first few nights, but I have Snuggle Puppies that families are using when they're a few years old still. They still carry their Snuggle Puppy around. And but it also is taking up space in the crate, because you don't want a puppy to have too much space and feel like they can potty on one side and sleep on the other. So it really works dual purpose like that, which is really nice. So there are also a couple toys that go with the puppy. So both of these toys we really like, but we just let families know that these are very much a puppy teething toy, so they're great for them to chew on. But once they get to the stage where they're getting their adult teeth, these might be ones that they can take chunks off of and just supervise, and you can always take them away at that point. But the more toys the better, because the puppies are definitely going through a bite inhibition stage at the moment and definitely teething. So the more toys you can give them and that, so that they're chewing on appropriate things. And the biggest thing, and I know I went through this in the blog post, so make sure you go through that a little bit more, but the biggest thing is to just make sure that you're all consistent in your household, making sure that everyone knows that it's not okay for the puppy to bite you right now. It may be cute at this stage, but it won't be cute when they're a full-grown dog and still trying to gnaw on your skin. So always redirect with toys and never give them attention when they're doing unwanted behavior. It's normal for puppies to tease and want to chew on things. Just make sure you have lots of toys to redirect them with. So you're gonna get a bag when you pick up a puppy, and this box. So the box will have the blanket in it, and you can take this blanket out for the trip home so that they have something to lay on and snuggle with in the vehicle. And then it will also have the toys in it, and your heat packs like that. And then there's going to be a bag. So the bag will have a large Ziploc bag full of the current puppy food. And then it also does come with a booklet on the puppy food, just with more information on the puppy food. And then I've already sent this coupon in email to everyone, but there's an extra copy of it here for $5 off your first bag of food. We also sent home just some more information on the new vet vitamins. And I'll go over a little bit more with crate routine and that and the new vet vitamins in a minute. So we also, everyone should have got an email already to sign up for their 30 days free pet insurance. I just want to emphasize to everyone that in that email you're going to want to sign up for it within 24 hours of getting your puppy, because they won't give you the 30 days free if you don't sign up within 24 hours. So just make sure that's one of the things on your list to do. And then also comes with a scoop and just doggy bags for the ride home. And TLC, the dog food company, also sells a treat, a biscuit. Now, this is a healthy biscuit and I do really like it, but I always just emphasize to families, so it's a big biscuit, so you're going to want to break it up into probably 8 pieces or so for these puppies. And also, it's still a treat. So even healthy treats, just like our human snacks, you're still better off with your main course. So this isn't something you need to use on a regular basis. You can use it when you're teaching them to do something new the first few times, but these guys are very praise oriented as well, so you don't always have to use treats. You can also work from a praise basis as well. So there's a couple books that we send home. So Puppy Fitness is one of the books that we send home, and we started sending this home after we had a couple families that had things come up, like at 6 months old they were trying more advanced agility classes and things like that that are really hard on the puppy's joints. And then we had another family that at it was around 8 months old, they were wanting to jog 10 kilometers a day. We do all kinds of joint testing on our dogs, but if you overwork their joints and over-exercise them at a young age, it doesn't matter how much testing we do on our adult dogs, you could destroy their joints. So we just want to make sure that you're doing appropriate exercise, and this book is really great. If you go through it, it has just different age brackets, so you'll see the age, and then it goes through what is appropriate exercise at each age, and it goes right through to 2 years old. and it's a really quick reference book. I love using it. I would just say that it's a little bit on the conservative side, so if anything you could maybe go up maybe one level for certain things with this breed, but it's a really good guideline and something that I do recommend checking out. And then we do also send the puppy primer home as well. So this book is all positive reinforcement training. It's very much in line with how we train our dogs, and we do highly recommend it as well. And it also does have a really nice table of contents where you can just go to and say, this is something I want to work on, and you can just find it in the table of contents and just read that section. But I do highly recommend going through the whole book as well. So we also have microchip forms. So just with everything going on, we'll have these pre-filled out from the information that you've sent us. But the copy you guys will get is this pink copy, and it will be in this bag as well. And just so you know, the microchip number is on the top. And other than that, the microchips are pre-registered. There's no cost at all to you, and what they will do is they'll contact you first. If they can't get a hold of you, they'll contact your emergency contact, and if they can't get a hold of them, I'm also a contact on there. So I do keep all your information on file just in case I need to get a hold of you as well. And then this is the health booklet. So the health booklet also has the microchip number on it on the front, and then the information for the puppy. And then when you open up to the next page, there's the health exam here. So our vet checks each puppy. We have a vet exam from each puppy, and our vet will check things to make sure their bite is correct, make sure they don't have ear infections. She checks for heart murmurs, she checks for hernias, she checks to make sure both testicles are down on the males, she checks for luxating patellas, and so on. She goes through a very thorough health exam, and we love our vet, and if everything is good, she just writes healthy. So everything was perfect with Chewy, so it just wrote healthy, and then his weight was 9.0 pounds. And if you look down here, this is his first vaccine that was also administered by our veterinarian, and what was included in it for your vet's records. And then he was also given his first dose of Revolution. So Revolution is a flea and tick preventative. It also does heartworm. So it is prescription only. We do recommend using it basically when the snow starts to melt in the spring until the snow stays on the ground in the fall, winter. And it is a monthly dose. It's a liquid on the back of their neck, and you can get it at any vet clinic. And then, so we did treat all the puppies with Strongid. So we did 3 dewormings, and then we did 2 fecals, and we do this with all of our litters. We always do 2 fecals, and if everything's clear, we don't treat them with anything else. So, because we don't like to treat unnecessarily. So these puppies were all clear, both fecals, so they haven't had any more deworming. And then our vets just wrote when the next vaccines are due. So at 12 weeks, they'll have their booster. And depending on your area, we do recommend the Lyme vaccine for this area, but that's something to check with your veterinarian in your area. And then at 16 weeks, we do the last booster, Lyme vaccine, or Lyme booster, and then rabies vaccine. And then after that, we do recommend spay or neuter between 6 and 8 months old. So with spay and neuter, we like between 6 and 8 months old. And the reason for that being is they really need those hormones for proper growth and development. And there's definitely pros and cons to every age with spay and neuter. We just find that I do have a longer blog post if you want to check out like all my reasoning and that kind of thing. But basically before 6 months, they really need those hormones for development, and it's better for their joints the longer you can wait. But when we start getting past 8 months, we start to see a lot of behavioral things that a lot of pet families just aren't able to handle. And we also could potentially see more issues, particularly in the females with infections and different things that associated with heats. So generally between 6 and 8 months is where we recommend. So the next thing is NuVet vitamins. So NuVet vitamins, we do recommend the wafer. So I'll just show you the wafer. So it's a pretty big wafer. So what you're going to want to do is break it into a couple pieces at least. I generally break it into 4 pieces, and it breaks quite easily. You just snap it in half and then half again. And anyway, I'm going to send everyone home with a 2 weeks supply. NuVet, they generally come in the mail in about 5 to 7 business days, but maybe give it a little bit longer with everything going on right now. And so this is your 2 week supply. Can I come back up here? Yeah, so you put those in there as well. I did send in the email the information to order those. You will have to call the number on the form and just give them your order number, and they'll set you up. It is cheaper if you set them up on auto ship, but definitely talk to them and figure out what works best for you. This bottle is a 3-month supply. So as far as their bedtime routine, so we know how to set up the crate now, but do you see the kitty, Chewy? So bedtime routine, generally what we do is we take food and water away about 2 hours before they go into their crate at night, and we make sure that they have at least 2 good potty breaks. So ideally 2 pees and 1 poop in that 2-hour span. And then when you put them into their crate and they have their blanket and their snuggle puppy, I generally will get them to sit, and they're starting to get to the point where they hear the NuVet bottle and they like these, so they will start to go to their crate on their own because we give them their NuVet vitamin at night. And their NuVet vitamin, they really think it's a treat, so we use it as a positive reinforcement thing for the crates. So everything should always be positive about the crate. So we give them their vitamin, and sometimes at this stage they'll chew it for a little bit. They won't necessarily eat it right away, but we just want to make sure it's broken up so they don't, the occasional puppy will try and swallow it whole, so we don't want that. But anyway, give them their NuVet vitamin and close the door, and then you can walk away. So it's normal in the first few nights for them to whimper and that when you first walk away. So my recommendation is really for you to just ignore them when they're whimpering and that kind of thing. And yeah, they usually will calm down after a few minutes and go right to sleep. But if they do get more worked up and that you can tell that they're getting to the point where they're more upset, you can go back to the crate and you can put your fingers just inside the wire of the crates so they can lean up against your hands, and you can talk to them really quietly and that until they go back to sleep. But don't open the door. Just as soon as they settle back down, then walk away again. So this breed, they're brilliantly intelligent, which is wonderful for training. They pick up things really quickly, but they're also so smart that they quickly learn how to manipulate you. So, and crate training I find is one of those things where they will quickly figure out, oh, they let me out if I whimpered a little bit tonight, so I'll make sure I whimper more tomorrow night so that I can get out. Because of course they would rather be with you, but the crate is going to be your best friend as far as potty training and also just keeping them safe when you're not able to be home. A lot of families ask me how long to use the crate, and it really depends on the puppy. So I use the crate well past potty training stage, and the reason for that is they will still chew on things and get into things in your house that are not safe for them when you're not home. So it's just important for them to have that safe space. And even as an adult, often our dogs will go and have a nap in their crate, and their crate should be a safe haven for them. A lot of our families also have children, and children, my kids, they love to play in the crates and stuff like that. But I just always tell the kids that if the dog needs a break, the crate is their safe haven. So if the dog goes into the crate for a nap, then the kids should leave the dog alone in that space. And same thing with discipline and that kind of thing with the puppies. Just a crate should never ever be a place for discipline. It should always just be a positive place. So beyond crate training, potty training the first little while. So these guys are already litter trained, and a lot of families ask me if they should continue with litter training in the new homes, and I actually don't recommend that. So the litter training has been great for teaching them to go into one spot and not go anywhere and everywhere. So they go in the litter box consistently. They know to go to that spot, not where they're eating, sleeping, and playing. And what you're going to do is just translate. The litter box is now outside, and your house is the eating, play, and sleeping area. So if you do that consistently from the first day home, it'll be a lot better than trying to transition to litter and then transition outside. So for potty training, you're going to want to pick one spot in your yard to go each time. The litter training has taught them that they go where their scent is. So you can easily translate that to your yard. So pick a spot in your yard. Ideally, pick a spot where you want them to go long term. A lot of families make the mistake of picking a spot right next to the steps, which is fine when they're a little puppy, but they're definitely going to get larger and larger stools and that kind of thing, and you're really not going to want that next to your steps. So pick a spot where you want them to go long term. This time of year you should be fine getting to just about anywhere, but even in the winter I recommend shoveling to get to wherever you want them to go to long term. And I do recommend for the first couple days to set a timer on whether it's your watch, your phone, or that kind of thing for every 45 minutes to an hour, and just take them out each time. They won't have to potty each time that you take them out, but it's just eliminating accidents altogether. And what you can do is, as they're doing better, just keep extending that time each day and that kind of thing. And I'm trying to think what else. Other than that, I just make sure that if you don't mind just giving me a call the next day and just let me know how everything's going. And other than that, I'm definitely a resource for you, so call me if you have any questions about anything. I definitely don't mind, and I'm available. So any questions at all, there's no dumb questions. But other than that, I think we're all ready to go.